as we take a look at the chip counts here. 125, 250 still. Davies and Jiang level at 11 blinds. Hrabec narrowing the gap between himself and Webster Lim as they are neck and neck. In the middle of the six-person field, comprised of Brewer and Pietrangelo, has 222K. Looks for a home here out of a total prize pool of 4.15 million.
It's really interesting now. Two runaway chip leaders in Webster and Hrabec. Chris Brewer, Nick Pietrangelo kind of handcuffed Ali for the time being, courtesy of those two 11 big blind stacks. Talking of free rolls, by the way, Triton free roll on GG Poker starting in 8 minutes time, and the password is free roll. No late reg in that one.
But now we see Jiang here with ace-5 suited. I appreciate what you're trying to do is to redirect the thirst for a free roll toward GG and sort of our official stuff. We're trying to figure out how we get the free roll you offered as we see Jiang jamming, and Webster Lim out of the big blind with king-jack suited appears curious. Remember, this is the hand that Davies put into the muck after Brewer jammed the button.
Yeah, that was for 19 effective. This one for 11. A lot of hand in the big.
And a lot of chips off of which to make the call. So Lim's going to give Jiang a spin. She does have the best of it. Might she find a double here?
Oh, thank you.
Getting it in good. That's all you
takeaway.
can ask for. Tournament life. Gonna double up 56% of the time, Ali.
Oh, well.
Whoa.
King in the window followed by an ace, and you see Jiang walking back toward the table just to verify that she does have the best of it. Wait a minute. Queen on the turn, and suddenly outs added to Webster Lim's side of the screen. Jiang's got to fade a decent amount here, and the jack of diamonds on the river, giving Webster two pair and downing Sosia Jiang's hopes of
always a pleasure.
A title here in event number 1. Plenty of respect being shown.
Love that. Really love that,
by
Ali.
Nikki P.
Yeah.
First to his feet.
Just class.
Class, I think, is one of the most fair ways to describe the ever-elegant Sosia Jiang, who wears a smile and brings her all to each one of these Triton events. Always glad to have her. She will collect 222K to add to her loan cash of roughly 250K throughout her Triton career. And I expect that we'll be seeing her across plenty of other events here at this festival.
Straight into the 15K. Or just, you know, take the night off and enjoy the 6th place run. GG's. A lot of love in the chat, I can see, for Sosia.
Rightfully so, by the way.
Oh, for sure. 6th place finish here in this record-breaking 25K GG Super Millions. And our last qualifier, I believe, Ali bowing out in 6th there.
That's right, she did qualify on GG for the event. Not easy to do, by the way. That was a Sharky qualifier. You had a lot of top-tier talent that was looking to punch its ticket into this 25K via that online opportunity.
Natural 9 for Davies in the cutoff. 11 bigs.
Oh, no. You've been infected with the Baccarat
I've been converted.
nomenclature.
The Asian invasion, the Malaysian crew converted me.
I thought it was the Thai guys that were doing it. Wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah.
You might be right. I think there was a mixture of Thai players and Malaysians at the feature table when Randy and I were in the booth, and there was.
I think it was exclusively the Thai guys that were doing that, Henry. Not that you have bothered to appreciate the distinctions.
No? You don't think the Malaysians like a bit of baccarat every now and then?
What's that? Are you profiling now, Henry?
No?
Is that
All
what
right,
we're doing?
okay. So you're just saying that they can't play the great game.
The great game.
The great game.
PLO has been displaced by baccarat now. Somewhere Joey Ingram is rolling over in his grave. Actually, he's alive, so I don't
alive
believe
and
he's
well,
in a
I'll tell you
grave,
that
but he's still
much.
rolling over.
I think there was an all-in on the bubble, if I'm not mistaken. You had stepped out for a brief period. No, it was post-bubble because you and I were in from the beginning.
Okay.
And, yeah, I want to say it was Pachara that saw the 10-9 in the all-in situation. It was like, well, you're just going to win with the natural 9. There's no way you can lose this. He was right. 10-9 did win the hand.
Speaking of which, suited variety on the button here for Lim, facing the raise to 500K by a dominant 9.
1.5.
And a 3Xing from Webster. What, Henry? What do you think that this is the product of Lim conflating a final table of a 25K poker tournament with baccarat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the allegation.
Yeah, I do.
I'll come to
And
Webster's
note
defense.
the flag. Note the flag.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Those of you in the chat who think that Webster's 3-bet there had anything to do with the game of baccarat, go ahead and let us know and embarrass yourselves equally. Those who recognize that we're just looking at a man who's on the top of his game, let us know. $15.75 million now for the chip leader. Didn't spend much time being neck and neck with Hrabec, did he? Promptly put some more runway between himself and second place.
2.9 behind.
A jam from Brewer with ace X in the small blind. You don't want to say something about blackjack there with the 8 deuce, Henry?
Grow up, Harley.
It's my line.
That spot you could have found some stuff to look at and been sad. Yeah.
Webster won title
So cheap. I'm fine with that.
on his Triton track record, coming back in Madrid last year.
Yeah, that'd be a sad.
Took down the 50K short deck.
Three Americans. The first timer from the Czech Republic, Hrabec, and Webster Lim towing the line for the always robust Malaysian contingent at every Triton stop. Here he is with 2 red jacks.
Chip leader going to be opening super wide with a legit hand. He's opening UTG 5. Nicky P. 18 bigs.
What do you get, Seth? I have 7.2.6.
Scanning around the table. Wouldn't fault him for rifling this in here. A lot of hand, 5-handed. A lot of fold equity as well.
Upstairs we go. Pietrangelo sticking 3 million of his 4.3 out there, Henry. This is not designed to 3-bet fold, is it?
No,
Ever.
ever folding to the jam.
And of course, Webster puts the remains on request, and you can see sort of dejected affect on Pietrangelo there, recognizing that ace-9 suited doesn't fare particularly well in that spot. But he does have 32% equity.
Yeah, 1 ace dead. Pietrangelo needs some clubs. One of the 2 remaining aces is to stay alive here.
One club on the 4-4-6 board. $9.2 million in the middle. Turn card does not bring the flush draw. And now Pietrangelo, his first ever cash in a Triton event. Can he stay alive with an ace on the end? The answer is no, as the Queen of Diamonds
GG, dude.
seals his fate as the 6th place finisher. GG's issued. Well, he got the monkey off his back, Henry.
He did.
That's the important note.
Very similar to Seth Davies, if you recall back to Madrid, I believe it was. Took a few stops, but strong start here in Vietnam for Nick Pietrangelo.
Yeah, we know that he is going to be hopping into as many events as he can. Didn't make his way to Vietnam to be one and done by any stretch of the imagination.
Class act, as always. Nick Pietrangelo, GG's. 5th place finish for him. And then there were 4, Ali, and then there was an overwhelming chip leader in Webster Lim.
Yeah, massive stack now. Almost 21 million. 83 bigs. That is going to be a tough man to topple.
Yeah, this is
Half the chips in play.
Pietrangelo, by the way, picking up 286,300 for that 5th place finish. Now 357K locked up by the remainder of the field.
Davies with a couple of ladders, by the way.
Yeah, as the short stack, and here he is going to work from the button with black 5s.
One of those guys with an extremely composed kind of presence at the table. Stoic,
I was actually
difficult to read, just gets on with it.
the leaderboard's sick. If it counts, it's like worth a lot. I mean, yeah, you get what,
Got some work to do here, Ali.
like, oh, not that like 100K. Just like we're kind of like spin you up
what is it?
quite a bit.
Is it top 5 or top 10 get 100% rake back the next year?
I think I'm not sure. Like on the leaderboard, it's either top 10 or top.
Yeah, but it's 100% rake back.
Yeah. I mean, 100% is like super sick. Like so much.
Yeah.
Discussion.
Every Sunday I get like for like whatever 40 or 50 I get 2 to 3K back.
Yeah.
Between Brewer and Hrabec there, centering around the GG Super Millions leaderboard. Those at the top will be given 100% cash back on GG, and that, for any pro who spends a good chunk of time on there, is worth no small sum.
Definitely worth grinding for. It's the thing of dreams, Ali. 100% rake back.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
Distant pre-Black Friday memories. Webster Lim, 3.4 million plus in career Triton earnings. 1 title, 8 cashes. Might this be his 2nd title as we roll on 4-handed?
Yeah, we join a very exclusive club that includes none other than Ivan Liao, Fedor Holtz, Henrik Hecklund, just to name a few of the 2-time Triton champions.
Rui Cao, Justin Bonomo, Michael Adamo as well.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Rui Cao, by the way.
Wouldn't surprise me if he's playing a cash game somewhere in the building, Ali. I mean,
Got a nose for him, doesn't he?
absolutely loves it.
9-7 suited, making it 500 to go. Davies defending the big blind with the better 9, suited as well. King Jack 8. It's a gut shot and backdoor spades for the pre-flop raiser, who has been outflopped by Davies, who checks it with the flow of play.
Awkward one for Hrabec. Be a disaster to get check jammed on, but 9 high. Not much showdown opening from the cutoff. The ball texture that's going to favour his range more so than Davies. Let's continue.
Mini bet.
Randy Lewis rejoined the commentary booth.
No, that's Aaron Zhang. That's who we take that from. Queen on the turn as Davies chose to call. Both players now with the bad end of a gut shot.
Hrabec's now drawing dead, although the opportunity to take this away from Davies on the turn with this overcard to Davies' flopped middle pair rolling off. It's not slowing down, Ali. It's reaching for a second barrel. Small one again, 375 this time.
Things getting less comfortable for the Jack 9 now, but price being laid here. You wonder whether or not Davies is going to continue to keep his man honest. The 10 is just a less attractive development for this Jack 9 when it rolls off, because the Ace X creates problems. Nevertheless, Davies going to call.
The old double take. Or glare over to Hrabec's board, pairing river. May see Hrabec now wave the white flag. .6 out there. Feel like anything other than anything other than an all-in. Get looked up by Davies. Would it be the easiest of calls? And well,
there is the all-in as Hrabec puts max pressure on Davies.
Note the glare over from Davies observing this Triton newcomer. Take a bow, young man. The biggest stage in the world. Finding the triple on this run out.
Davies looking for a live read. Anything that would help inform this decision on the end. We know that it's non-zero for Hrabec to take 3 streets on this texture.
Ace X. Pick up a gut shot on the turn. On a triple off. I think it's the small, big that's raising suspicion here from Hrabec. Opting to turn his hand into a 3-street hand. Plenty of bluffs. Can Davies make one of the hero calls of the tournament for his tournament life? Jack 9 goes into the muck, Ali, and with that, Davies down to just 8 bigs.
Circle that pot there, Henry, as Roman looking to keep pace with Webster. 12 million, 48 bigs. The Triton rookie earn my respect.
Hey, listen, it would not surprise me if in a couple of days' time on the Triton app, that one is a highlight video on his player profile. 4 left of this record-breaking 25K GG Super Millions Live Edition, and triples off with 9 high to one of the best players in the world. No easy feat.
Not at all. Pocket eights now for third place Chris Brewer. 6.75 out there.
Really grim spot with pocket eights. I mean,
Davies on just 8 big
Yeah.
blinds is the concern, obviously, Henry, as we look at the pay jump between fourth and third, and not insignificant. 78,000.
it's like, do you just like limp call off against Davies and fold to a Hrabec jam? You're really opening the door for Hrabec to put on or pile on the pressure.
And he's run into 2 nines for Davies, who is going to be ready to get the remains of his stack into the middle at sub 10 bigs.
1.7.
$1.7. Davies finding the 3-bet, and of course, Brewer puts the rest on request, and that is a devastating thing to look at with pocket eights. 2 nines for Seth Davies. It's what he needs. 82% favorite.
We're in Asia, pocket eight.
Yeah, if Davies can just hold here, going to be tied with Brewer. Both going to be playing around 4.5 million.
Oh, well, wait a minute.
Very juicy.
The 8 of spades in the window obviously was wretched, but followed by a jack and a 10. Davies is open-ended. 10 outs twice. Turn is blank.
Brutal development for Davies. One
Can
to
he
come.
hit the straight or the set on the end? No, it is 8s full for Brewer, who obviously can sympathize with Seth Davies. So often,
How'd you do?
Chris has been snake bit deep in these Triton events,
8 is a lucky Asian number, no?
and just truly
That was
nothing to hang his head about for Seth Davies. Obviously, Hrabec got him off of what was the winner in that 3 street spot, but 2 nines against 2 8s with just 8 bigs. Davies out of there
what I was supposed to do.
in
I don't know
fourth.
if I was supposed to hold or open or something.
Another world-class performance.
They all seemed equally
That cash
juicy.
going to put him up and over $4 million in career tournament
There we
earnings
go.
here at Triton, by the way. The
Turn
9th
was.
of his career. Still chasing his first title,
I
though,
went on the river?
Yeah.
is Davies.
Oh, the straight.
Oh no, it was 10.
That was a 10.
It was Jack 10-8. It was the flop.
This threesome
Yeah, it was a 10 on the over.
Oh, yeah.
guaranteed. 435K plus for a third place or better finish.
It's not an easy spot for me.
Chris Brewer run good continues. Someone in the chat saying Brewer trims the mullet and dramatically increases his bottom line. Facts. Wonder if the markup has increased since the mullet was cut off. So listen, boys. Sorry, but the run good is real.
Webster's going to let the flop roll off with no added admission costs. Is 8-3 suited, wholly unimproved on the King High Rainbow flop. Can't say the same for Hrabec, who's got the 10s, checks it over. That's the stack he's not looking to pick a fight with, of course, especially with Brewer hanging around.
Yeah, Roman's best live cash before this run was 257,000, is now smashed that. Guaranteed 435. A win here would more than double his total live earnings.
How about that?
A ton of online results, I must say.
He's looked right at home from the onset.
He really has.
No betting on the flop or the turn as backdoor hearts have arrived. Hobbits finally puts chips into the pot with the tens.
You think they will allow me to change the box if I ask them, or they don't do it no more? Just like we're like both
I know,
sitting here behind
maybe
the dealer,
they
it's
might
like
let
so
you move
weird.
it over. I'm not sure.
Excuse me, could we like move a bit or something? Could we like move a bit? We're like both sitting behind the dealer and stuff. And just, okay.
Reasonable request.
Sure. See whether or not we can accommodate as we get a look at the chip counts. With the blinds moving to 150, 300. Every three hands will cost you 750K as the stacks are further diluted. Those counts brought to you by GG Poker.
Big up the GG Poker guys. So just to reiterate, Ali, now that we're down to the final three, you mentioned some change in the amount of hands that will be played, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. 13 hands per level. Three-handed. 8, 7, and 6 was 15. 5 and 4, 14. So these levels will be even more quickly paced.
I do believe, looks like they are going to accommodate as Webster and Hrabec have moved one seat over.
Oh, it's for me, sorry. Thank you.
Shout out to the team for taking care of that so quickly. Three remain. 4-3-5 locked up. 9-6-5 for first.
Ace 8 in the small for Webster.
$900.
Yeah. 3x out of the small blind. We do see the upsizing often, as opposed to the 2 or 2.5x out of other spots when we attack the big blind from the small. Brewer not interested in competing with the 5 deuce of hearts. Oh, forgive me. He did defend. Missed that. Does flop himself backdoor hearts and a wheel draw up against top pair as we play a 2.1 million chip pot. Take your eyes off the table for just a moment and get punished.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Happens to the best of us.
Well, there was good reason, by the way, to be looking away from the table, Henry, as you had pointed up to the screen.
Yeah.
That is covering event number 2, which has now set the new high water mark with still some time to come in terms of total entries. Just staggering here, the amount of support for this Vietnam festival. As we see a bet and a call of $500,000. Brewer unimproved on the turn. See what Webster subjects him to here. be a check. Playing a little pot control. Listen, Brewer, third in chips, but far from a short stack.
At third in chips, 5 high. Expect to see Brewer fire out a bet here. No real showdown, has equity. Can fold out decent amount of hands, given that Webster's going to have a wide range from the small as the chip leader.
Ace-8, of course, checking with the intention of calling.
Yeah, Ali, just scenes here. I mean, the room buzzing. The new players now had their first taste of what a Triton Super High Roller Series feels like. Going to a big river, 7.1 million in the middle, 5.6 behind as the ace of diamonds completes the board and proves Webster to trip aces now.
Comfortable spot to be in, of course. Backdoor clubs and straights fail to materialize. 7.1 in the middle, just 5.6 back for Brewer. Let's see whether or not Webster wants to slip him rope. The answer is yes. Boy, that is a tantalizing sum. It looks like it might be yours for the taking. We know 5 high never wins.
Non all in. Leave himself one blind behind.
5.5.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
All but 100K being put forward by Chris Brewer, and that's a big enough size. We're not going to see the snap call, I don't think, from Webster, but with trip aces, do we ever find the muck? Doubtful.
Against someone as good as Brewer, who, case in point, can have these types of hands.
Yeah.
The one chip flick in.
And Brewer never wanted to see that. Fairly swift flick from Lim. Doesn't lay it on thick. Professionally courteous stoicism there, as he has really set himself up nicely for a heads-up confrontation against the rookie Hrabec. You see Brewer. Just 100K left, Henry.
Can still pick up the big blind ante from the small. We've had our fair share of spin-ups already in this tournament.
Right. Smilkovic, famously, down to 8K within the first orbit or two of this event, and then wound up with over 4 million, was it, at the high water mark?
I mean,
chip leader?
Absurd. Absurd spin from Smilkovic.
By the way, the situation's even more dire than I thought, as that graphic there stating Brewer just has 50K, not 100K. All in the small. 10-4 and dominated by Hrabec's 10-7.
Domination.
Asking for a chop. Going to be a rough one for Brewer. Webster, 3/4 of the chips in play now.
10 out there,
Ooh,
along with
that's a fair fight.
3 spades.
Unfair.
Okay, that little 4 spades dangler.
Bring clubs.
Turn card doesn't help Brewer, who now needs improvement, and there it is.
I was like, it's actually, I was trying to figure out how many calls you could actually win on. Like, I don't think there's many anymore.
Quadruple up for Brewer from 50K to 200K.
Board pairing salvation but perhaps nothing more than a stay of execution, as the task is really a tall one.
Well, ace-10, a welcome sight.
Yeah. 200K promptly sent into the middle. Couple of king highs behind. Now Hrabec calls the 300,000, and this is one of those unique situations, Henry, where these remaining two guys are so heavily incentivized to check their way all the way to the river and force Brewer's Holding to play against not one but two hands.
Yeah, there is a small side pot. Brewer flopping the best of it on the Jack 10-6.
Indeed.
Potential triple up here. More than triple up, I do apologize. Got about the big blind ante.
Note, by the way, that Hrabec
I win.
binks the deuce on the turn for the side pot against Webster, but the main pot will be collected by Brewer.
Odds on Brewer winning this tournament now. Ali, what price are we naming?
Come on, I don't even want to put it on the board.
It's
It's not right. Take advantage of people in that way. I mean, it's certainly not a reflection of Brewer. It's just the improbability of
He's
being able to.
18x his 50K
I did.
already.
Yeah, you're in the marketing department at this sports book, aren't you?
Folding an ace is fold.
Brewer now forced to put 2/3 of his final 900K in the middle. Going to be going with any two cards.
Can he make it three in a row? Well, yeah, up against two red aces.
I have 300 back, yeah.
6.
Gonna be tough. Min raise from Roman. Wow, Brewer's gonna be thinking ace-jack is a lot of hand for me to show up with. Gonna love to see this. Webster flatting.
Little chuckle to himself. .1 out there, Brewer now dead on the turn.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of the road for the last American combatant, as Hrabec's just content to check down here.
Yeah, no side pot.
It's a dry side,
Check.
and it's a big pay jump of 218,000
Good game, guys.
GG.
secured by Webster Lim and Roman Hrabec, who will square off heads up courtesy of the elimination of Chris Brewer, who certainly performed well, making the podium a third place finish, 435K. The hot streak continues for him, and a lovely way to start this festival off for Chris, especially on the heels of North Cyprus, which was really a deflating experience for him. Good to see a smile on his face again.
Roman Hrabec, 44 bigs and a point to prove for the young Czech player. A lot to play for here. 300,000 plus difference between first and second. Obviously, picking up that trophy as well. That additional baggage fee on the flight back home. One that you don't mind picking up the tab for. Randy, let's go. Showtime. Let's a quick look at how this final table played out. First to depart, Jonathan Jaffe, another deep run for him. Michael Soiser, APT CEO, bowing out in 7th. Cecilia Jiang bowing out in 6th. Petrangelo getting the monkey off of his back in the form of a 5th place cash here, 286,000. Seth Davies, another impressive run. Chris Brewer, without the mullet, seems to be running hot in 2023. 2 trophies in Paris, a 3rd place finish here in Vietnam. We have ourselves a deep stacked heads-up match between Webster Lim and Roman Hrabec. Let's go. This is what we're here for, Randy.
750.
Well, we're going to come off raising right away.
$166 runners. This 25K GG Super Millions.
So we're kind of at that stack depth where I feel we might not start with a limping kind of game, you know.
For sure.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
that tends to come into play as we dwindle down a bit. But
Sub 25-ish.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a strategy that can be used, but I'm expecting more default right now.
Different play styles.
2.5x. And as we all know in heads up, you got to play wider ranges, otherwise you'll bleed to death from the blinds. King deuce, worthy.
We have a total of 172 entries, including 50 re-entries, generating a total prize pool of 2,580,000. We're going to pay 23 spots with a 23rd player finisher receiving 30,000.
It's 10 and 6. A couple of clubs, 1 diamond.
600,000.
Webster, that all-important king of clubs in hand. Hrabec,
Also players once again.
just 8 high. Backdoor diamonds and some very natural turn barrels.
Another record.
So a 7 or 9 roll off to give him a gut shot straight draw.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the king deuce, not the best piece to have, but you know, does have showdown value. Do got the backdoor clubs like you said. Is going to make a call. It's going to be uncomfortable for Roman. Pairing the 6, that is not a card you tend to multi-barrel on. They've got a piece. Still looking good.
.8 out there. Blocking some of the folds as well with that 8 of diamonds in hand. Some of the
Right.
7/8s, 9/8s of the world.
Wow, he's barreling again. Just a pure muscle play.
Power poker has been displayed throughout the day from Roman Hrabec. Why would that change